In the burning heat of the dry Arizona desert, where the land was cracked and thirsty, Jonas Hale discovered a wounded Apache woman with fair skin and long flowing hair. From that single moment, his quiet, lonely life changed forever. Jonas Hale was a simple farmer who lived all alone in a small wooden house far from the nearest town. Years ago, he'd been a soldier in the army. He had fought many battles against the Apache tribes. Those dark days had left heavy scars on his heart. He no longer wanted to fight. He only wanted a peaceful life, working in his fields and watching the sun rise and set. Every morning he walked along the dry riverbed, hoping to find even a little water for his crops. One hot afternoon, while the sun was beating down mercilessly, Jonas noticed strange marks on the dusty ground, footprints mixed with drops of blood. His heart started beating faster. He followed the trail carefully, holding his old rifle tightly in his hands. The marks led him to a small bush near some rocks. There she lay. She was a strong Apache woman. Her skin was surprisingly fair and smooth, now covered with dust and dried blood. Her long black hair spread around her like a dark, silky river, tangled and dirty from the struggle. Her hands and feet were tightly tied with rough ropes. There were deep cuts on her arms, legs, and face. Even in her unconscious state, she looked powerful and beautiful, tall, with sharp cheekbones and closed eyes that still seemed full of fire. Jonas stood still for a long time. He knew he had two choices: walk away and leave her to die, or help her. In his past, he had seen many Apache people as enemies, but today something deep inside him, his humanity, refused to let him leave her there. He put down his rifle, took out his knife, and gently cut the ropes. He lifted her carefully in his strong arms. She felt warm and heavy against his chest. "I will not hurt you," he whispered softly, even though she could not hear him. Slowly and carefully, he carried her all the way back to his small house and laid her on his own simple bed. For the next 2 days, she remained unconscious, fighting for her life. Jonas stayed by her side without rest. Then he cleaned her wounds with clean cloth and fresh water. He made soft soup and fed her small spoonfuls whenever she could swallow. At night he slept on the hard wooden floor, waking up many times to check on her. He wiped her forehead when she had fever and whispered comforting words even when she could not understand. On the third morning she suddenly opened her eyes. She sat up quickly like a wild animal ready to attack. Her hand reached for a weapon that was not there. Her dark eyes burned with fear and anger. "Who are you?" she asked in a low, rough voice. "Why have you brought me here?" Jonas stayed calm and kept his distance. He spoke softly. "My name is Jonas Hale. I found you near the dry river. You were badly hurt and tied up. I could not leave you to die alone in the desert." He did not move closer. He only placed a plate of food and a cup of water near the bed and quietly left the room. He understood that trust would take time. Her name was Tahana. She was a fearless warrior from a powerful Apache tribe. At first she watched Jonas with suspicion every second, but as days passed, she began to notice small things. Jonas never asked her any questions for his own benefit. He never looked at her with bad intentions. He worked hard in his fields under the hot sun and returned tired, yet he always prepared food for her and made sure she had everything she needed. He spoke very little, but his actions showed kindness and respect. One quiet evening, as the sun was setting and painting the sky orange, Tahana finally spoke from her heart. "A dangerous bounty hunter named Cyrus P. Dregu captured me," she said, her voice shaken with pain and anger. "He wanted information about my tribe's hiding places. When I refused to tell him anything, he beat me badly and left me to die in the desert. My young son is still in danger. I must find a way to go back and protect him." Tears filled her eyes, but she quickly wiped them away. She did not want to appear weak in front of anyone. Jonas felt a sharp pain in his own chest. He remembered his old days as a soldier when he had fought against Apache warriors. He had carried hate in his heart back then, but now, sitting in front of this brave woman with fair skin and long, beautiful hair, he only felt sadness and respect. "I will help you," he said in a calm voice. "Stay here until you become strong again. You are safe with me." From that day, A warm and gentle feeling started growing between them. They did not talk much, but their eyes began to speak. Tahana saw a man who carried deep sadness from his past, but still chose kindness. Jonas saw a strong woman who had faced terrible pain, yet still had a soft and loving heart hidden inside. As the days turned into weeks, their bond became deeper. Tahana slowly started helping Jonas with small tasks around the house. She would sit outside and watch him work in the fields. Sometimes she smiled when he brought her fresh fruits from the trees. One cold night, when strong winds howled outside the house, Tahana could not sleep. Her body was healing, but her heart felt heavy. She called his name softly. "Jonas, come here." He walked to the bed slowly. She took his rough hand and placed it gently on her fair cheek. Her long hair fell softly over his arm. "I was wrong about you," she whispered, her voice full of emotion. "You gave me back my life when the whole world wanted to take it away." In that tender moment, the invisible wall between them finally broke. They held each other close for the first time. It was not only their bodies coming together, it was two lonely souls finding peace and home in each other. Tears rolled down Tahana's fair cheeks. "I was so scared and alone," she said quietly. "But now, with you, I feel safe." Jonas kissed her forehead softly and felt his own eyes becoming wet. After many years of emptiness, his heart finally felt warm and full again. Their happiness did not last long. Danger was still waiting for them. One dusty afternoon, Cyrus Pedregu returned with 4 dangerous men on horses. They stopped in front of the house, guns in their hands. "Give me that Apache woman," Pedregu shouted loudly. "She belongs to me." Suddenly, bullets started flying everywhere like angry bees. Glass broke and wood splintered. Tahana quickly grabbed a rifle and fought bravely like the true warrior she was. She moved fast and shot accurately from the window. Jonas stood right beside her, protecting her with his own body. "Stay behind me," he told her, but Tahana refused to hide. She fought with full courage. In the middle of the fierce gunfight, one bullet hit Jonas in the side. He cried out in pain and fell to the ground. Blood quickly soaked his shirt. Tahana screamed with rage and fear. She ran outside like a storm, fighting fiercely with her knife. In the end, she faced Cyrus Pedregu and ended his life with her own hands. The other men got scared and ran away into the desert. Jonas lay on the ground, breathing with great difficulty. Pain burned through his body, but he looked at Tahana and smiled weakly. "You are free now," he whispered. Tahana's hands were shaking as she held him tightly. "Do not die on me," she begged, tears falling from her eyes. "I cannot lose you now." With all her strength, she lifted him onto a horse and rode through the dark night toward her tribe's hidden camp deep in the mountains. The journey was long, painful, and dangerous. Every step of the horse made Jonas groan in pain. Tahana cried silently, but kept riding without stopping. She was ready to risk her own life to save the man who had saved her. When they reached the mountain camp, the Apache people looked at Jonas with anger and hate. "He's a white man, our old enemy," they shouted. "He cannot stay here." But Tahana stood tall and strong in front of everyone. Her long hair moved in the mountain wind. "This man saved my life," she said loudly and clearly. "He fought for me. He gave me kindness when no one else did. He's no longer our enemy." After long arguments, the old healer of the tribe finally agreed to treat Jonas. For many days and nights, Jonas lay in a warm tent fighting against pain and high fever. Tahana never left his side, even for a moment. She wiped his face with cool water, held his hand, and sang soft traditional songs in her language to comfort him. When Jonas finally opened his eyes and looked at her, Tahana smiled through happy tears. "You came back to me," she said, her voice full of joy and love. But the tribe could not allow a white man to live among them for long. It was too risky for everyone. With a heavy heart, Jonas had to leave. On the morning he rode away, Tahana could not come to say goodbye because of the tribe's rules. She sent a young boy with a message: "Stay alive and do not look back." Jonas returned to his small house with tears in his eyes and a heavy pain in his chest. The house now felt completely empty. The bed felt cold without her. Every day he worked hard in the fields, but his mind and heart were only thinking about Tahana, her fair skin, her long, flowing hair, her brave smile, and her warm touch. She chose her people, he told himself again and again. I must learn to live without her. The loneliness felt like a heavy stone pressing on his heart. Nights became long and painful. He missed her laugh, her strength, and the way she made him feel alive again. Feel alive. Many weeks passed slowly. The desert remained dry and cruel. Then one beautiful evening, when the sun was setting with red and golden colors across the sky, there was a soft knock on his door. Jonas opened it with a tired heart. Tahana stood there in the golden light. She looked tall and more beautiful than ever. Her fair skin glowed softly, and her long black hair moved gently in the evening breeze. She was holding a small bag in her hands. Her eyes were shining with love, hope, and a little fear. My son is now safe, she said in a soft voice. My tribe is doing well, but my heart never left you, Jonas. It stayed here with you all this time. She stepped inside the house and gently touched his face with her hands. I choose you, Jonas. I choose us, even if the whole world stands against us. Tears filled both their eyes. They held each other tightly for a very long time, feeling the warmth they had missed so much. From that day onward, they decided to live together. Tahana worked side by side with Jonas in the fields. She helped make the small house stronger and more comfortable. She planted new seeds with care and fixed the broken fences. The people in the nearby town talked badly about them. They whispered, "A white farmer living with an Apache woman. It is not right." But Jonas and Tahana did not care about the world's words. Their love had become stronger than any hate or fear. Every night they sat outside under the bright stars. They talked about their painful past and their dreams for the future. You taught me how to trust again, Jonas said one peaceful night, holding her hand. You taught me that love can heal old wounds and win over old wars. Tahana smiled warmly and rested her head on his shoulder. Her long hair spread softly across his chest. And you taught me that true kindness is the strongest power in the world, she replied. When the long, painful dry season finally came to an end and gentle rain started falling on the thirsty land, their life also felt fresh and new. The crops began to grow green and strong. Together, they had faced guns, hatred, old enemies, painful separations, and the anger of society. They had chosen each other even when everything and everyone tried to pull them apart. Their story was not only about love, it was about deep trust that grew from pain, about big sacrifices that built a real home, and about two brave hearts from completely different worlds who found one beautiful life together. They proved to the world that when two souls truly choose each other, no wall is too high and no storm is too strong. Thank you for riding along on this story. Drop your location and time one more time if you'd like. And if it touched you, like send some stars, follow, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. See you in the next tale.